To open Pandora's box. To open Pandora's box means to perform an action that may seem small or innocent, but that turns out to have severely detrimental and far-reaching negative consequences. In the days of old, Pandora's box was an artifact in Greek mythology, taken from the myth of Pandora's creation in Hesiod's works and days. The box was actually a large jar given to Pandora, which contained all the evils of the world. Pandora opened the jar and all the evils flew out, leaving only hope inside once she had closed it again. Some say Hesiod was a time traveler from 2018 or 2019, which lost his way. He told and wrote about stories in hopes to change the future. Just so you know, the Greeks invented the alarm clock. As Alice told us, time is like a string. We can move forward and back, but it is impossible to change anything, as it is impossible to create another string. Hesiod may have been talking about something called Synthia, a synthetic species of bacterium derived from the genome of Mycoplasma genitalium, undertaken at the J. Craig Venter Institute, designed to eat oil in the Gulf of Mexico, is hungry and is eating all living organisms. It appears that the bacterium has mutated and now is attacking humans and animals. This deadly microorganism is heading for Europe, writes researcher and analyst Jean Purrier for New Eastern Outlook. After the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, Washington decided in 2010 to create an artificial bacteria to clean up the oil. Synthia was designed by the J. Craig Venter Institute, which since the beginning of the 21st century experiments with genetic experiments, and Synthetic Genomics Incorporated, founded and financed by oil giant BP. It was assumed that Synthia feeds only on oil, but it now appears that the bacterium also like to consume all forms of biological life. In 2011, Synthia was plotted in the Gulf of Mexico. The Register reported in January that year that scientists were very impressed with the bacterium. The oil disappeared like snow in the sun. The bacteria mutated rapidly and started to feed on other forms of life. Strange messages were coming from the U.S. Thousands of birds fell out of the sky in Arkansas due to unknown disease. 100,000 dead fish washed up on the Louisiana coast. More than 100 BP employees who helped to clean up the oil were struck by a mysterious illness. They could not be treated in public hospitals and not say a word about what had happened to them, according to Purrier. Some people who dived after the oil disaster were covered in the Gulf of Mexico, had sores on their skin and died a few days later due to internal bleeding. Synthia enters the skin through a wound or by consuming raw seafood. Once in the body, the bacterium produces a toxin that damages the tissue. Synthia multiplies rapidly and is resistant to antibiotics. According to the University of the District of Columbia, has up to 40% of residents of areas around the Gulf of Mexico suffered from skin diseases and respiratory diseases, and 1 in 4 intends to leave the area in the near future. Washington tries this type of messages to quell by saying that the deaths are due to an unknown virus. Synthia meanwhile spreads to other areas on Earth. In Alaska, a massive death took place under seal. The skin of the animals was also affected and their organs were severely damaged. It is, according to Purrier, only a matter of time before the bacteria reach Europe. The arrival of Synthia could lead to that the popular French, Spanish, Italian and even Greek and Turkish beaches are permanently closed, he says. Many experts emphasized during tests with Synthia that artificial organisms has risks. Dr. Helen Wallace of GeneWatch said in an interview that these artificial bacteria can pose a great danger. Friends of the Earth, an international network of environmental organizations spanning 70 countries, has often insisted that the creation of J. Craig Venter is a threat to the entire world. The Canadian Etc. group has sounded the alarm and Venter has opened Pandora's box, and that this kind of research is a threat to all life on the planet. Stay paranoid, my friends.